Let's go. Was that venom again?
I already tell you, my flask always have venom.
Oh, hello, listeners. Here, I'm leaving it to the sorcerer this time. Oh, God, that stuff is terrible.
Last time on Swordcast Adventures, we find Marabi here on top of a cart, being attacked by dead things. We decide to help. We were successful, so he offered a safe place to sleep and food. He even gave us all special gifts.
As we left off, you had gotten your items. We'll start with that.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Grimtuck.
Thanks, Grimtuck.
Ba-dum.
You are now sitting around a gigantic warm campfire in front of this small gnome's oddly colored cart. You have all been presented with a fine item to thank you for your services to him. And he goes, as he kind of takes a swig off the brandy that Latscott was passing around, he goes, I don't know where you all came from, but I have to say, it was good timing. Good timing on all your parts. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Loud Scout says you're welcome in Undercommon.
Metolius will make his way over to the remains of our foes from earlier.
Okay.
And
Would you say any of you guys have done anything with the bodies or let them just kind of lie?
I don't think I've done anything.
Yeah. No.
I mean, eventually.
Yeah, probably not. It didn't appear there would have been anything of value on them, probably.
Not really, by any
Reed wouldn't
means.
have cared
Hey,
then.
maybe that skeleton's got a gold grill.
It's true. You never
Go
know.
get paid.
He's gonna approach the one with the scrap of cape.
Okay.
He
Totally.
vanquished mid-battle.
Yeah.
I'll make an investigation check.
Okay. Do it.
About his person.
We have not slept yet, correct?
No.
You have not.
Yeah.
It's still
kind of early in the evening.
3.
Sure is wearing a cape.
He thinks he's Superman.
He's lying face down, and you see these small bits of cloth kind of fluttering in the wind, but he is not moving anymore.
Oh, well,
You have
turn
found
him
out.
over.
Interestingly, you see just kind of ruined bits of armor along him, and you notice that the small bit of cloth that was once this most likely divine-looking cape seems to be a small brooch attached to bits of leather still hanging on.
What's it made of?
Do you actually reach down and pick it up?
Yeah, definitely.
It looks like some kind of worn metal.
And what do I see upon this?
The brooch seems very similar to what you have seen upon the shields. That same odd symbol of a moon, somewhat of a orb, a sun, and a sword clasping, kind of covering the three.
He brings it back to the fire and just kind of looks it over for a few minutes.
Yeah,
and
you
then-
just kind of flick it around in your hand.
And then
Edlund's gonna keep looking at it and you notice that he's flicking something around. Is that something I would recognize?
Roll a perception check that you see that, because I don't think you're actually flicking it through your hands. You're just kind of looking at it.
yeah, just kind of.
So roll a perception check to see if you actually notice him. Yeah, you
Natural
definitely
20.
notice him seeing it.
What's with you and natural 20s on the first roll of the game?
I just, I like
Waste
to start
them now.
strong.
Waste them now.
Don't worry, he'll pop a bowstring before that.
Yeah, don't you worry.
Don't you put that on me.
Gotten that juju across the table.
It's a curse.
You do notice that Metolius walks back from the the corpse, and he seems to be holding something in his hand. It's hard to tell. The night is kind of cloudy, so the only real decent light from where you are is the firelight.
Okay.
But you get a slight glint of metal in his hand.
Metolius, what you find over there?
That creature had a bit of cape left on its person, and it was attached by this brooch. And Metolius passes it over to his compatriot.
Ah, fascinating. What do I know about it?
Roll Let's say roll a history check.
Okay, 7. I thought it was 1.
Let's go with 10.
like, that'd be funny.
That'd be a 10.
You know of many, both religions and organizations that use a combination of these symbols. You aren't totally positive about this one, though. It doesn't look super familiar. Specifically, the combination of these 3 images. Granted, you just have never seen it at the Evermeet. There was nothing of that sort.
That's fair. It's a relatively secluded community.
Did we already ask Marabi about the insignia?
I think you might have mentioned it, but I don't know if you got an answer. So you might want to try again.
Yeah, I
Did
wasn't
you
remember if we
show
brought it
me
up
the
last
brooch?
time.
Or did you just hand it?
I literally handed it to
Here
you.
you go. All right, Eldu, I'm gonna like toss it back at you and be like, I don't know much about it.
Friend Marabi, what can you tell us of these this insignia? They all seem to be ornamented with a similar symbol, but I don't think any of us recognize it.
Are you handing the...
Matolius, yeah, we'll hand it to Marabi.
Okay, Marabi kind of takes it and goes...
Seems like
A knowledge.
a gnome who knows things.
I was going to say a gnome in the know.
Yeah.
Oh, get ready, guys. This one is full of them.
We got
There's
some
2 silent consonants there. You clever bastard. Bamboozled.
He kind of looks at it for a second. He kind of scratches his head. He goes, actually, weirdly saying, I'm not totally positive on this. I haven't... Here, do you mind if I take it for a second, go into the cart, see if I can look up anything about it?
Go right ahead.
I'll do my best. I can't promise anything, but you never know.
Okay.
So he leaves for
And we never saw Marabi again.
the cart just and is gone. No. You hear a crack of reins as the horse
Rides off into the sky.
Yep. No. He opens the door, closes it, and you hear what you actually hear out of the cart are just like rifling through things, like a few crashes and a few gnomish expletives, which pretty much, unless anyone else speaks it, only Loud Scout. Yeah, I know you can, Loud Scout. I'm saying only Loud Scout understands them, and they would definitely make your, even the hardiest of gnomish sailors a bit upset.
Every time I hear one, he just kind of like looks up from what he's doing.
Are you one to blush, Loud Scout?
Well, you wouldn't know if
I
you
don't
did.
think you could tell if I did.
I'm just asking.
He just
Normally, no. He's seen some shit.
so yeah, he's gone for a little bit. If you guys wanted to do anything around the campfire.
Elduin's gonna whistle badly.
Grimtuck's gonna start stacking bodies for the
Fair.
undead.
I think Rain's probably just polishing her new rapier.
Metolius is taking out his loot.
Okay. Rain, every once in a while, if you're not paying attention as you're polishing it, and you notice that the blade just sinks through the cloth without you even trying, just like...
Neat. Okay.
So, as you grab your loot, Metolius, and you start whistling an out-of-tune, Elduin, Marabi does kind of return to the group, and he kind of walks down, a few books in hand, but he just like looks at them and looks at you all and just like kind of chucks them back into the cart. You hear a loud crash as he throws them in. Truthfully, I have nothing. I haven't seen this symbol myself. Is it recognizable to anyone else here? I'm not sure. Maybe it's something of the land itself?
Does it appear to be magical in nature?
Are you asking Marabi or the DM?
Let's go with the DM.
I was going to say, because that was in character for us, so I was just making sure. Well, roll on Arcana check.
Not great. Not super great. 10.
It doesn't feel, in itself, it does not feel very magical. It doesn't seem to be holding anything. And he kind of, Marabi kind of strolls over to you, Metolius, and unless you want me to try to sell it in my cart, I don't really have any use for it.
No. The funny thing about it is that when I was performing some tasks for my patrons before I came to this land, that I encountered a crypt in which I battled a undead manifestation that wielded a spectral sword. And I believe that my patron mentioned something about the twilight of this world was nigh, and that is why I must come here.
Interesting.
And here you see is a sun and a moon together. And so
Referencing Twilight, I guess.
maybe it is where sun and moon meet.
This is true. Huh.
Huh.
Not I'm not a man of gods, but that is quite an interesting parallel. I'd say,
Metolius, perhaps we stow it and show it to Cassandra.
I have a little bit of a different idea. And Metolius begins to make a symbol in the ground with his feet, and it is 6 footprints, all with the heel inward. That makes basically a star.
Okay.
And then he sits down with this symbol in front of him and pulls out his lute.
Okay.
And he places the insignia in the middle of the symbol.
Okay.
And he begins to play a song.
Excellent.
It's kind of not really a sad melody, but definitely not like a jig.
Like a nocturne?
Kind of. And he doesn't say anything. He just plays his song.
Okay.
And he will attempt to use his channel divinity in a purpose that totally is not what channel divinity does, but he's just trying to
Get them vibes back and send some
he's
out.
sending out those vibes.
Okay.
Maybe his patrons will pick them up.
Kind of like how Grimtuck talks to squirrels. He doesn't have a definite direction.
He just talks to him.
Sometimes,
Just want to talk to animals.
sometimes he'll get some shit
So,
back.
you all see Metolius perform this very interesting ritual as he sits down pulling out his lute, and the strings are plucked, and you hear almost this eerie melody kind of waft through the area. As he continues, you see him go, I wouldn't say into a trance per se, but he falls into playing, loses himself in that sense, and begins to play this beautiful, haunting melody. And as it continues, you see the fire very quickly just kind of spark up, the 4 of you sitting around it. And Robbie kind of looks at it and goes, what's going on? And as he continues the song and it moves forward, picking up pace just a moment more, the flames burst wide and gain this hue of almost emerald green, stemming from the very middle point of the fire, emanating out into this entire just gout of flame becomes kind of a green bonfire in front of you.
Oh shit.
Loud Scout probably wouldn't have jumped at the first pot, but he's definitely looking up at them.
Rain is definitely intrigued and watching intently, but she's trying to act like she doesn't she's not that interested, so she's probably still polishing her rapier, but she's probably dropped the cloth at this point and still just moving her hand.
Hey, Rain.
Don't cut yourself.
Roll a percentile for me.
Oh shit.
Don't touch yourself.
And high or low.
I'll go low.
Okay.
77.
Oh shit.
That's how Rain lost a finger.
Yep.
Nah. Rain just takes 4 damage.
That's fine.
As you cut yourself and kind of catch yourself in the moment of you not paying attention. Metolius, you kind of, as this flame grows, it's not becoming out of control and not really going much farther than the normal fire it was, but as it glows this green, you see this odd shimmer kind of envelop the area as the firelight becomes this kind of emerald hue as well. As you continue playing, you hear for a moment a snap, like a twig, far into the woods in front of you, and your eyes kind of shoot open.
I don't stop playing, but
No.
yes.
And in front of you stands a large black bear staring back at you.
How far off?
I would say about 100 feet, just at the edge of the woods.
Can
Anyone else see it?
Are you paying attention to Metolius, or are you paying attention to the woods? Would you have listened? Would you heard? If you had heard the snap, would you have looked towards it?
I imagine so. I mean,
Okay.
Grimtuck's pretty in touch with nature in
Sure.
general.
So, anyone else can roll a perception check to kind of pay more attention to the sounds of nature around you. Cool.
17.
14 for Eldwin.
Grimtuck hit to 23.
Loud Scout got a 10.
So, most of you, Loud Scout, sadly, you do not.
Fair.
You're kind of enthralled with the music and the firelight.
I mean, I'm definitely enthralled in what Mentolius is doing for sure.
He knows magic too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once Loud Scout saw the green aura kind of spread, he would have probably stood up at that point and kind of started to wander around. But definitely watching Mentolius the whole time.
As this continues, you all look over, hearing the snap to the side of you, and you all see that same large black bear standing there, staring just at a dead stare at Metolius. For a few moments, they seem to lock eyes. Metolius never stops playing, and this bear stops moving. And as the stare is broken, the bear wanders off, and the green starts to fade,
Metolius brings the song to the close.
and the fire is returned to normal.
And Eldwin would like to ask what that was.
It is a song that was taught to me by my patron, Guayron Windstrom. Years ago, in my dreams, as strange as that sounds, he taught me this song. And sometimes when I play it and focus on my patrons, they can tell me things.
Don't say.
Yes, and sometimes they appear in dreams. Sometimes it is merely symbolic. But I think that I am on the right track to finding what my patrons want me to find.
Rain will kind of elbow Grimtuck a little bit and say, and I thought you talking to squirrels and shit was cool.
Yeah, that bear's pretty neat.
Marabi, kind of still in awe of this entire endeavor. He's a man of great magics, at least in sales, but he he's still anything god-based certainly still puts him a little head over heels, and he kind of looks at you, Metolius, and goes, "Oh, that was you. That was you doing that. Aren't you bard? I thought you swing a sword. What are you doing? You have armor."
Perhaps in a different life I would have been a bard, but the goddess of the forest has chosen a different path for me. I am her champion.
Obviously, it seems that they believe in you quite a lot.
Well, they did send me here to find something, so I would hope so.
I guess so. Yeah, mildly warned me that next time you're going to change my campfire. That was a little disconcerting at first, very pretty afterwards, but right off the bat, a little disconcerting. You didn't know that was happening.
Will do.
Okay, thank you.
Let me know next time you summon bears. I'll get ready and asking questions.
I did not summon that bear. That bear came of its own accord, I believe.
Just give me a bear warning.
I'll do my best. Friend.
Just give me a bear warning.
We're in yellow bear, so going to red.
Blackwatch plaid. Metolius reaches out, hoping to get a drink off of the brandy going around after that performance.
Yeah.
And kind of just sits by the fire and looks at the insignia, holds it in his hand. But that's about it for Metolius.
Cool. Before the night comes to a close, does anyone want to do anything else?
At that point, Loud Scout would, after Metolius takes of the brandy, Loud Scout would pull out a gallon of ale to then pass around to everybody as well. And then he's going to kind of like set up a little station by the fire where he's going to take out the parchment filled with tree sap that he had gotten earlier, as well as his piece of cured leather and the Atiyuk charcoal that he found. First, he's going to kind of take the parchment and tree sap and set it close to the fire so it can get warmed up and moldable.
Sure.
And then while he does that, he's going to find 2 rocks that he can use them to kind of press the 2 pieces of charcoal together into one like cylindrical form. And then he's going to take his piece of cured leather and take one of his daggers and slice 2 thin strips off of it.
Okay.
And then wrap those in a spiral around the pieces of charcoal to hold them together. And then once the tree sap has gotten soft enough, he's going to wrap it all around the outside of it, coat the entire outside of it with the tree sap, and then set that somewhere so it can all harden up.
Okay.
And once that's done, Grimtuck would approach Loud Scout and just ask that he, because Grimtuck would have stacked all of the dead bodies in just the middle of the road so they wouldn't catch anything. Fred and Loud Scout, I know that you can tend to just make fire out of nothing. Would you mind burning our friends over there so as to not spread any disease to any would-be travelers or woodland creatures?
Loud Scout kind of looks up at him, like, kind of a little confused, but he gets it at the same time, and just like, yeah, just looks over and kind of points and daylight.
It doesn't take very long. Their bodies are old and rotten. And yeah, the pyre for the dead burn.
After that, Grimtuck would just go hang out by the fire and drink with everyone else.
Alright.
Yeah.
Word. Marabi does the same, kind of recounting a tale here and there. Kind of looks at you all and goes, where do you all come from, after all? You're not from here, are you?
I'm not sure that anybody's from here. This is a strange land, but no. We all came over on the same boat from the mainland.
Oh. From the, the Sword Coast?
We
Yes.
come from Faerun, yes.
Oh.
By way of the Sword Coast, yes.
I was on Faerun with the rest of them, but I originally hail from Evermead.
Oh. As I've said, I've been there once or twice. Not very often, and it hasn't been for a long time.
That is very unusual. Most have not been there.
I have been a lot of places with many people.
You are most surprising, little gnome.
You have no idea.
And I am of the Shatter Chain tribe. We are wandering people, nomadic, mostly forest folk, but also plains people.
Excellent. Well, it is about that time. I am getting tired and my eyes are heavy. I think I'm going to turn in. Please, I have made room inside for you all. Feel free to either put down a bedroll or there is pillows and cushions. You can all make your own bed.
I appreciate the offer, but I will take my rest out here.
Okay, just be careful. Yeah.
Of course.
Loud Scout plans on staying up for a bit and
That's fine.
drinking by the fireside.
Yeah, Marabi retires. He walks into the cart and you hear a far off door close.
Bizarre.
Absolutely.
Varys will come over to the fire and lay down. Varys, my elk,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
will come over to the fire and lay down about 10 feet away, and then Metolius will go. Basically, use him as a pillow.
Oh.
Elk pillow.
Are you going to sleep outside then as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Grimtuck, before going off to bed, just wants to make a note of, now that we have a moment, I do want to say that Fred Metolius raised some concerns about our patrons, Lady Cassandra and Enoch. It's very possible that this situation is not what it appears. I wanted to make everybody aware of my doubts as well after Fred Metolius opened my eyes a bit.
I merely just wanted to say that you can't always trust things for the face value. And I have not witnessed anything that Cassandra or Enoch, despite his sour disposition, would wish us harm on anything, about anything, but...
I don't know either, but I did try to take a stroll around the castle and found that there were many, many areas that were barred to me. Places that seemed commonplace, and far too many guards for somebody who claims to be defenseless and, I guess, scared and hiding.
Interesting. I was not aware of this.
Yes. I took a stroll pretending to be a bit more drunk than I actually was and found that in reality, when we're in the castle, there are very few places that we are permitted to go. Now, we're simple folk, and so food and booze and adventure seem to last us, but I feel next time we go back to the castle, we should make some inquiries of our own.
I think that is reasonable, but
Thank
I
you.
also think it is reasonable for the Lord of a Keep to not let strangers from another land wander about in her castle.
Have you thought it striking odd that we know nothing of this brother of hers? Or her father?
It is
Not so
striking.
much as a picture.
I agree. We should ask about that. I just don't take much stock in being barred from certain sections of the castle. That makes sense to me.
There's something more. When we brought up the name of the jewel that we found previously, Lady Cassandra seemed very, very confused and put off. What was it called again?
Yeah, that's what Father's right eye, if my memory serves me correctly.
She seemed confused, surprised, and still withdrawn. Now, if this was an honest endeavor, she would have come out and directly told us what it was and her purpose for it.
You're observant, friend Grimtuck. It does appear there is more than meets the eye. More than meets Father's right eye. You're welcome.
Welcome to the night, folks.
All I know is that we're on mission number 2 and I haven't received any payment yet. So
All the more reason to look around to see.
exactly. I'm already a little on edge with them, so I'll keep my eyes out.
And more so, let's keep our eyes out for information on this brother. Who knows? There's a chance that we could be playing for the wrong side.
We could ask Murabi.
Maybe we will in the morning.
Indeed.
Let's remember to do that.
Alright, well, yeah, Grimtuck is gonna... I mean, normally Grimtuck's the type of guy to sleep outside, but I think he's super curious about what's going on inside this car. I'm gonna go ahead and turn in.
So the door opens for you,
Mm-hmm.
and as you open it, you find this almost, I wouldn't say lavish, but certainly a better looking living space than you would expect. The cart's pretty big. It houses what seems to be at least 2 rooms in that sense. It's a gnome. He's small. 2 rooms aren't huge, but it's big enough that you do find the walls are stocked with like cabinets and shelving and things like that, filled to the brim with different glass jars and unlabeled miscellaneous very odd looking items. On the ground there seems to be just piles of pillows and blankets ready for you to bed down, and the floor space seems wide enough that you could easily stretch out and be just fine and still have room for the others to come into. There is a door at the effective front side. When you're standing inside, when you're looking towards the front, there is a small door at that side, which is to what you can surmise the door you heard.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna go disturb him. I'll just...
Trying to sneak into Maravi's place.
Yeah, that sounds like a super good idea.
I think you should. I think
Yeah.
you should.
Yeah, that won't backfire horribly. I'll just go find some pillows and pass the fuck out.
Okay. You're sleeping on your elk. You're
I'm
doing your whole restful thing outside.
Elduin's gonna trance outside, but are there... So question, how wooded is this area? We're in a grassland, if I remember correctly?
You're making it closer towards the kind of foresty region. You're actually pretty much on the edge of the...
We're still close to the coast, right?
You're close to the coast, but what you notice is that the forest kind of wraps just at the edge of the coast. Like, almost the entire line you were riding down, there seemed to be the forest following you the entire way. So you're pretty close to the forest. You're probably about a couple 100 feet off. The bear, Metolius and you all saw, was just at the edge of the forest, about 100
Gotcha.
or so feet off.
So Elduin is going to go and try and find some like brush and some small bits of nature that would make noise if stepped on.
Okay.
And he's going to make a little spot 10 or 15 feet away from the cart.
Okay.
And just sort of like line the area around. And
Okay.
then as this makeshift noise trap.
I would like you to roll a survival check to find what you need.
Okay. 14.
14? It's not bad.
Alright.
It's good enough to... You're probably catching about 2/3 of the backside of the cart facing the forest.
Okay.
You probably haven't filled up the entire area, but like you've gotten a good portion and enough branches, twigs, pine needles, and things like that just to kind of line the ground.
So yeah, I'm just gonna just dust him around such that if somebody tries to walk near me, I might hear a twig break.
Sure.
And then I will fall into a trance.
Okay. How deep does your trance go?
Deep
Balls
house.
deep.
Balls deep trance.
Oh shit.
That's how deep.
So yeah. Metolius drifts off upon his warm elk. Loud Scout, where are you curling up?
Loud Scout wants to find some sort of like rock or something like that that might be somewhat near the fire, if it's possible.
We're on a road.
Yeah, you're pretty
There's
out.
no like decent sized rocks anywhere.
Decent sized rock, not so much.
Then he'd probably just find.
He finds like 3 or 4 little rocks and just stacks them up and kind of curls next to them. Friends.
No, he'd probably just find some spot that's not super close to anybody else.
Okay.
And curl up on
Sure.
his own. But before he does, he's also going to. So he's going to take that thing that he made earlier and stow that. But then he's going to take a little bit of the leftover sap and take it with him and find some sort of rock and then use the same cantrip to kind of carve it out and make a bowl out of it.
Okay.
Where he's going to add the sap to it with a little bit of the niter and the sulfur that he got from Lady Cassandra and mix that together. And then as he falls, as he's like laying there just chilling out and drinking, he's going to form it into a small ball and set that aside to harden with the other piece.
Okay. It's like Batman. All he needs is prep time.
Or an Etsy store.
I'm so curious what the fuck you're making. I cannot wait to see this come to fruition.
And then as he lays down to finish off that bottle of ale, he's going to pull out his wand of web and attune to it before he falls asleep.
Sure, absolutely.
Does the Quiver of Alona require attunement?
I do not believe so.
No, I'm pretty sure you can just roll with it.
Most of those bags of multiple
Check
carrying capacities don't.
Multiple carrying capacities.
I mean, there's like a ton of stuff. There's like a backpack.
Oh, I know.
And, you know.
The Havard's handy
Havard.
haversack.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't believe so, but I just want to make sure so we are official. No, you do not.
Great.
But yeah, Rain, what are you doing?
Could I sleep on top of the cart? Is there? It doesn't have like.
Are you
enough
up there
of the-
too? Are you? Where are you trancing?
Oh, were you sleeping on top of the cart?
I was trancing on the ground.
Okay.
Is the top of the cart like flat enough to?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. I'll do that. I'll bring.
I
a
mean,
bedroll up
Marabu
there.
was up there.
That's true. Yes,
So-
I'll bring a bedroll up
I
there.
love how the only person that went inside is Grimtalk.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, nah. He's got weird blue potions.
He's nice, but I don't know him that well yet.
Yeah, you're able to get a bedroll up on the top, sleeping
Excellent.
out under the stars.
That
At
is
this
what I would
moment,
like to do.
not a problem. At this moment, as you all kind of start to drift off, the sky begins to clear, and you see just a not entirely full moon, but a moon kind of lighting the area, stars lining the sky. Known constellations you see and recognize, giving you a small taste of home. Maybe not you, Loud Scout.
Clearly.
Clearly. You look up at the stars and go, God.
Fuck are those?
The gods are poking holes through the ceiling.
No, Loud Scout's been on his own for a while, so
I
he's
know.
used to sleeping on his
I know.
stars.
I'm joking. I'm just kidding.
But he prefers a good hole.
He does.
God.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? So say we all.
So say we all.
So say we all.
The night continues, unabated. Seemingly, no one kind of tromps through. So you come out of your trance. It's still being nighttime for probably an hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
But you notice no one has kind of disturbed. Maybe a small animal or two has walked through, but nothing crazy. You see Metolius and his elk and his Pokemon kind of curled up together. Dogs, come
Excuse
on.
me, sir.
Come on. You'll be master someday. Don't worry, I promise.
Gotta
There's
catch
a
'em all.
fey creature named after my dead father. Have some respect.
No, I won't make any more Pokemon jokes, I promise.
Now that it's personal.
Yeah, I guess. I feel bad now.
Yeah.
God.
Uh,
But the night...
Oh no, carry on.
I was going to say the night continues on. Pleasant sleep all around after a solid fight and some hearty drinking. Also, you find that being out under the stars kind of gives you that freedom that sleeping within the walls of Cassandra's castle does not, which also allows that kind of nice, restful sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Does it
But-
though?
For now.
For some.
Well,
We
I
can
mean,
bury you.
We could.
damn.
I'm
Oh,
just
wait.
saying. I'm trying to help.
Take a dirt nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally. No, but so as the sun falls beyond the horizon, or as the moon falls beyond the horizon and the sun starts to peek up over the treetops, Eldwin, you hear the sound of something walking through your noise trap.
Well, I was awake already.
Yes. Which way are you facing?
Well, so I was going to say when I wake up, I'm going to head over to the fire pit
Yeah.
and get my maps out and just kind of sort of
Sure.
start pouring over them.
So, for reference, we have the forest, which is the opposite side from the coast. We have Marabi's cart, Rain on top, Loud Scout off nearer to the coast, Metolius and the elk curled up next to the fire pit. Now Elduin as well. Grimtuck is away. So behind the cart, closer towards the forest, where you kind of left this, you hear footsteps trotting through the kind of just refuse you put on the ground to make noise.
Is this like at daybreak?
Yeah.
Because at daybreak, Loud Scout would probably be woken up and then go try to sleep underneath the cart where there's no sun shining down.
Okay. So just as day breaks, this happens. You happen to wake up, Loud Scout, and you go over to the cart. You kind of crawl under it to kind of keep out of the sun. And about, I would say, half an hour later, just as you're about to fall back asleep, you hear that same kind of crunching footsteps through the needles and branches that Elduin had tossed behind the cart. And you, being under the cart, see a set of large feet kind of stomping through.
Elduin's head is going to snap around and instinctively his hand is going to go for his weapons.
Okay.
But not pick them up, just rest them on top of them.
Okay. So from around the corner, you see this large man, probably about 6'8" or so.
Jeez.
His skin tone seems to be that of chalk, with a odd black markings kind of running across. He wears a kind of a leather vest, tan leather, probably a light brown of some kind, with some form of just breeches with a bit of fur to them. And he has a large axe kind of slung over his shoulder. And as he kind of turns the corner, you hear him go, "What the fuck is this? Who the fuck are you? Why are you outside my cart? Where the fuck is Marabi?"
Do I wake up to this?
I think you would.
I get up with a start.
You see
I pull my
now,
sword out.
now this large, hairless man standing there with an axe in hand, and as his utterance goes off, Grimtuck, you would have heard this too.
Alright, Grimtuck would burst open through there.
Would I have woken up? I'm assuming.
I would think. I believe
Um,
anyone who is sleeping would have
I-
woken up.
So Loud Scout would have just hearing him proclaim about Marabi, he's just gonna kind of roll out under the cart and stand up and kind of yawn and be like,
You know Marabi?
Rain's gonna try to, like, without, like, gaining any height as to maybe not be seen, just kind of try to, like, roll to the side of the cart that this man is not.
Okay.
He's taller than the
And-
cart, isn't he?
Well,
No.
I guess that's true.
No, he's
okay.
not taller than the cart.
Oh, okay.
Cart's
And
huge.
try to slink down the back,
Okay.
like, to get off the cart.
I would like you to roll a stealth check.
No problem.
And Grimtuck would just burst out and go,
Natural 20.
God damn.
I think you just slink right off that cart.
Does our bare-chested fellow, is his weapon in hand or is it still...
In hand.
It is in hand. Okay, then Elduin
He-
is going
on
to...
his shoulder.
It was on his shoulder, but as he like went around the corner, you saw it like remove off the side and now is in hand, kind of throttled. It's not as though he's like holding it at the base and ready to like swing, but it's like ready to come into action if he
Okay.
needs
And
to.
Grimtuck would be about... He's going to just walk right up to him and be maybe a foot away from him. Just also great axe in hand.
So as you let me rephrase before you get just right up in his grill.
Okay.
And Metolius, are you actually just like waking up with sword at the ready towards him?
I think, yeah, because Metolius, like, operates in a woodland scenario
Sure,
where there
sure.
is
Survival
like,
instinct kicks
orcs
in.
and other things.
Sword kicks out and
So, yeah, he just, like, gets up and he, like, pulls his sword and points it at him, and then he, like narrows his eyes a little bit, and then he's gonna try to perceive something about this guy.
okay.
Grimtuck
Would you like to roll a nature check?
Sure. Why is he gray?
Elduin is going to
Ooh,
pull
not great.
his bow out and hold an action for if this guy, like, makes a quick move.
Okay.
11.
He seems to be. You may have encountered them on your travels, and just in any major city, you've seen a couple. He seems to be Goliath in nature.
Would Grimtuck know that, since Goliaths tend to be barbarians as well? Or at least have nomadic...
You can roll a nature check as well, sir.
Alright. That is to 19.
Yes,
Okay.
you would.
Would I
Specifically, you recognize the fact not only the chalky color of his skin, like almost white chalk with like a grayness to it, and the black like kind of designs upon him, but also the fact that he is completely hairless.
Do I recognize anything as far as anything he might be adorned with that would let me know, or like his tattoos that would clue me enough to what tribe he is with?
It doesn't seem to.
Okay.
Not from what you notice, but
Okay.
as everything happens, as Loud Scout kind of yawns and Marabi, as Elduin kind of holds his bow at the ready. Rain, he did not notice you. Well, no, Rain, he did not notice you.
I was gonna say.
He did not. And Metolius draws his weapon and points it towards him for just that moment. He goes, "Okay, you have 10 words to explain to me what is going on here and why you are sitting outside my cart."
Marabi inside. We help him.
That was within. And you hear like a window on the side of the cart slam open, and you hear Marabi come out. "Malik, they are friends. Please do not hurt them. They have saved me. Calm down. I'll be out in a second." And
Told
goes,
you, and I climb back under the cart.
Metolius sheaths his sword.
He kind of now less rage-induced and worried as much. He kind of like, "So you're sleeping outside of the cart?"
I wasn't. Is that a problem?
I always sleep outside.
I, too, sleep outside most of the time.
Odd. Okay. I apologize for jumping in. It's a little bit dangerous out here. So,
Metolius extends his hand and
past Grimtuck, who is now, like, up in the grill of Malik.
he said, I guess maybe comes in from the side.
Sure.
Like, holds out his hand and says, "I am Metolius Blackthorn, guide of the High Forest. Pleasure to meet you."
He kind of looks at you for just a moment before he puts out his hand and goes, "My name is Moloch. I work with Marabi. I'm his, let's just say his partner."
While this is happening, like I said, Loud Scout climbs back under the cart and is just gonna try and curl back up, get a little bit more sleep.
Metolius says, "Pleasure to meet you, Malik."
He kind of takes the axe and throws it over his shoulder. You now notice that it actually had, he has something of a kind of a catch, or not exactly like a sheath, but somewhat of a little hook on it that he puts over his shoulder and kind of saddles it, so it's not just out and about And he goes, "Hey, you gonna put that away there, elf man?"
Yes, right away. Yes.
Okay, I promise I won't hurt you. And Robbie,
I wasn't worried about that. Somebody puts his.
Robbie walks out and it's like, "Oh my god, I apologize. This is just what happened last time when I threw him a surprise party. Never throw a Goliath a surprise party. He walks in, you all jump out, heads roll, it's terrible. But this, as said, is my partner. He is the person I work with. He was out, as I said, doing errands. He's back now."
Clearly.
Rain will nonchalantly come around the cart now that she's heard it's a friendly situation.
And
Literally
surprise the
coming
Goliath we just told a story about not surprising.
No.
Nonchalantly doing
I believe Rain, instead of coming out from behind him, comes out from the other side of the cart.
Yes.
And he goes, "My God, you're all coming out of the woodwork. How many are there? Are there more inside?"
Just the 5 of us.
So, what happened here? Why are you all...
Your partner was under attack, and we came to his aid.
The smoldering body pile over there.
Well, by this point, it is just a pile of, ash and probably a few bones.
Wow. That used to be things.
That you... I love the story.
Some stuff.
He kind of looks at you all and goes, "Oh, well, thank you. I apologize that I wasn't here to do the same."
You look very skilled at your craft, sir.
If my craft is killing things with my axe, I am exceptionally skilled at that. Thank you.
That is what I meant.
Ah, good. You have an eye for these things.
Grimchuck is going to take a look at his great axe, just kind of size it up.
He does the same to you, just like...
Give a nod of approval.
Yeah.
It's like 2 dogs sniffing each other's butts.
Exactly what I
It's the manliest handshake moment. She's like, "Pah!"
Yeah.
Now kiss.
Totally skips behind them and just like pushes their heads. And
Grimchuck isn't used to having to get on his tippy toes to kiss anybody.
Marabi kind of goes, "I apologize. I should have warned you he might have been back in the morning. I'm sorry. I'm actually very glad you all slept outside. I think him finding you inside of the cart might have been a little bit more of a worry. I may have started swinging right away."
Well, no worries. We are about to be on our way as Metolius starts digging around his pack for rations, the morning's repast. And he looks up and he says, "We're off to find a tomb of some kind. It's kind of causing all this mess."
And Marabi kind of looks in. "Well, I do know that there's a crypt of some kind or some form of burial site just a little ways down. Is that what you're talking about? It's probably about 10 miles give or take from where we are."
Sounds like what we're looking for.
Interesting. Why? What do you need to go there? And Molly kind of chimes in and goes, "Yeah, I mean, the woods are kind of filled with undead fox. Is that really what you want to go into?"
Well, that's where they're undead. These undead folks you speak of are coming from, I believe.
That would explain why why the mess got thicker as we got in farther. I could have thought of that.
Regrettably, that is where we must go.
Well, here. How about I offer one last favor? I can get you closer, so it doesn't take you as long to get there. I'm not going to go anywhere near it. My cart does not need to be attacked again, but I think we could make a stop off if you're going our way.
That would
As
be
you say.
most welcome.
We could ride with you. We have our mounts.
This is true. I mean, you could always ride on your mounts aside of our cart, and if anything happens, you can always climb in.
Right, we have horses.
You do have horses.
Oh yeah, we
And
have
an elk.
horses this time.
Yes. And an elk.
And you hear kind of
Magic
Malik whisper something to Marabi. He's not very good at whispering, so he kind of does it loudly. He's like, they were able to get into the cart, like you. And Marabi goes, shush. You don't need to let them know about that. I turned it off. Don't worry.
Did I hear that shit?
Perception check,
Yeah,
please.
did I hear that shit?
Sure. Anyone who wants to perception?
Ooh,
No,
not very perceptive.
Insight
Nat
probably
20
wouldn't be
again
good.
for perception.
Big
And all of
ol'
my
8.
attack rolls today are
8?
sucked.
8.
You hear whispering.
Okay.
You might have heard Malek's line, but you definitely did not hear Marabi's response.
Grim check rolled 12.
Okay. I'm going to look askance at them.
What did you get, Loudska?
That one.
So, Loudska, you are just off in your own little...
I'm still asleep. I'm still trying to sleep under the cart.
You have gone back under the cart and are now sleeping. Rain, you heard both of them just fine.
But did you roll 20?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So that has been duly noted by Rain, but I'm not going to react to it.
And Grimtuck got a 12.
Grimtuck got a 12. You heard Malek's, but did not hear Marabi's response.
Metolius rolled a 17.
Metolius, you also heard both Marabi and Malek's response.
Okay.
You feel free to either you or Rain to do whatever you want with that. But
Metolius doesn't feel the need to. And Metolius is kind of like ready to go.
okay.
Yeah.
I can ask the strange little man questions about his business at a later date.
Truth.
I guess at
Maybe.
this point,
ever
noticing
see
that
him
nobody has been ready to like go back to sleep or whatever, Loudska's now gonna get up and join the rest of the group.
Okay.
Friend Marabi, where do you think you will head after we part ways?
I don't know. This is a big island. I bet there are a bunch of people who want to buy some weird odd accoutrement.
I'm sure. You might perhaps head back to Lady Cassandra Edderwine. She is gearing up for some sort of struggle and might be in need of wares.
Oh, I haven't even thought about that. Where did you say she would? This is where you came from, right? This is what
Indeed.
your
Back
benefactor?
that way. Some number of miles that I don't recall.
Are you familiar with the city of Gastkiln?
I've heard about it. I don't know if I've ever actually traveled there, but you're saying it's just back on the coast that way.
Yes, well, 1 second. And Elduin just, with the smile, like, whips out, like, 3 map rolls and is like, pulls out one, and he's very excited, like, okay, so we're right here. And then if you look down this way, this is how you get to Gastkiln. And he just...
This face.
Yeah.
But like sarcastic or not sarcastic?
Just kind of like surprised.
Oh, okay.
Just like, okay, thank you. Right there, you said it's right. Okay, I can.
Yeah, right there.
I will look into it. I'll see what I can do.
Yes, yes, of course.
If I happen to find my way there, I will let them know you told us to come there.
That sounds great.
Excellent. But yes, Malik, let's pack up the carts and we should. You're ready to hit the road.
Yes, I believe that I am eager to see our destination.
Excellent. Anyone who would like to, feel free to ride in my cart, but you all have steeds and... You will
Except
not.
for
No.
Loud Scout doesn't
Last
have a
guy's
steed.
riding with me.
Okay.
Or in the car
He's-
if you prefer.
He's riding back saddle.
Yeah.
That sounds gross.
If they were motorcycles, he'd be in the sidecar.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just the fattest goggles.
So, as I hear we're
He'd
about
be
to
a
get ready to
corgi,
leave,
too.
Loud Scout scrambles back under the cart, grabs all of his stuff, and then like comes to join Grimtuck on the back of his horse.
Cool.
Elduin is going to ride not in the cart, but on a horse.
Okay.
Same here.
Yeah, I figure you're not going to leave your horses behind.
No.
I
Or
will
your
not
elf.
ride my magical elk.
Nope,
Just kidding.
I'm leaving it
Just
alone.
kidding.
I'm leaving it. Goodbye, my magical elk.
Marabi's still not feeling well. But I forget what go here. Oh yeah, a commercial.
Do you feel down in the dumps because you have to ask for other people's dice? Do you never seem to have that one you really need when you really need it? Well, don't worry. DiceBards.com has you covered. With a wide variety of materials and designs, DiceBards.com has everything you need, including their 29-piece adventure kit with every dice you'd ever need for any situation in your tabletop role-playing game. No less right now, it's on sale for $20. That's less than 70 cents per die. So, what are you going to do at checkout? Well, you're going to put in coupon code SWORDCAST, that's SWORDCAST, All one word, all capital letters, for free expedited shipping. And remember, DiceBar.com has everything you need, as long as anything you need are dice. So yeah, you see Marabi go into the cart and then come out some hatch on the top and hops up into the driver's seat. And Malik kind of just like grabs onto the side and just hops himself up onto the driver's like stool as well. And both of them, while sitting there, just kind of, okay, everyone, please follow us. We are, I'll lead you there, and hopefully with enough banging around and noise, we'll keep away any of the bad evil things, at least for a little bit.
In my experience, banging around noises attract the evil things, but I think we're adequately prepared to defend ourselves. Let us be off.
Okay. You see Marabi kind of crack reins, but this cart has no horses, as there were none.
I failed to realize that until just now.
Because they were not
Touche.
attacked. No horses were attacked during the zombie
Well played,
attack.
Gnome. Well played.
And the cart speeds to life as though it did.
Wow.
Are there any spectral horses that appear, or is
No.
it just like...
It just seems to... He seems to crack reins on something. You see nothing in front of it.
There's no like hoof beats.
There are no hoof beats, there are no hoof prints.
No.
But it seems to move forward.
As the cart starts to move forward, Loud Scout kind of looks up at him with like admiration, and then scrambles up the back of the horse that Grimtuck's on, and pulls out another bottle of ale and takes a drink and like slaps Grimtuck on the back and passes it forward to him.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then after he
drinking.
he takes the bottle and we start to go off, Loud Scout digs through his bag and pulls out a ration and sits down and has breakfast as we start to head back.
Word.
Metolius grabs onto the fur on Varys' back and hoists himself over.
All right.
And
we're off.
you are off.
Yeah.
Charging through the woods here and there. Marabi seems to know at least a way towards the crypt.
Do we know how long the trip's gonna be?
It's like 10 miles on pretty speedy horses.
So it's gonna be a minute.
It's going to be a minute.
Okay.
You probably got an hour travel, give or take. Maybe 2 by the time you get there. But he gets you in about a mile out. And you see his cart start to slow, and I'm guessing you would all begin to slow as well.
I just want to do one thing along the trip.
Sure.
As we're going on the trip, Loud Scout's going to pull out the piece of charcoal with leather twine and sap and stuff around it that he made the last night. And now that it's all hardened, he's just going to, along the road while we're traveling, he's just going to take one of his daggers and kind of carve it into a thin, like, uniform, cylindrical shape.
You're making a
And then,
gnome dildo.
and that's all I want to do.
Okay. I'm really interested to know what he's doing now, too.
It's an underdog.
Underdog!
Well
It's
played.
like the
The underdog.
It's like the name of the wind up in here.
So,
As we're moving along, Rain will keep a very weary eye out for more undead and just be paying extra attention to their surroundings.
Sure.
To know.
Rain, you should roll a perception check. Just check it out. See what you see.
What's it all about?
A nat 1 that time.
You don't see a damn thing.
You're moving too fast through the woods, and the foliage is too thick to really see anything moving on the outskirts of your periphery.
Elduin would also like to keep an eye out.
You know what to do, sir. Same as the first. A little bit louder, maybe a little bit.
Oh, that's a 5.
Not as worse.
9.
9? Again, the wood seems pretty tame as you're charging through it. You're not seeing much around.
Cool.
But, as I said, you get about a mile out and Marabi begins to slow down his cart. You notice him pull reins and the cart slows as it does. And yeah, once it stops, you all kind of round up and stop near him. And it kind of goes, okay, everybody, as I said, I am not going anywhere nearer to these point. So just keep walking About a mile down ahead of you. The trees will break. You'll be right near a mountain. You'll see it. Once you get there, look around. You'll probably find it. It's not that hard. It's pretty straight ahead.
Metolius looks over and says, and points and says, "That mountain?" Or he points, and then he turns his finger to another mountain and says, "Or that mountain."
He goes, no, that the first one.
Oh, okay.
That mountain.
All right, thank you.
Not that one. That one.
Okay.
So go north.
Okay.
Well, many thanks to you, friend Marabi. I actually wish to impart upon you a gift. You seem to be a man who collects curious items. He's going to reach over down to his belt pouch.
Hair doll.
So hold out your hand.
He holds out his small... God, me as the DM, I am scared.
Grimtalk
Marabi is fine.
Unlocked.
The DM is scared. He holds out a small gnomish hand.
Grimtalk is going to pour into it a small amount of dried berries that he has on his pouch. And he says, "I know that you do not claim to be a godly man, but if you have the time, you and your compatriot should brew these into a tea, have a nice drink, and I promise you'll be able to commune with the gods."
Oh, you're terrible.
Yes.
Marabi goes...
D&D LSD.
But do not do so on a full stomach, and do not do so when you have anything important to do that night.
He kind of looks at you with a sly eye and kind of nods in knowing. Just like, he kind of takes it and he pulls out a small piece of parchment and puts the berries on him, folds it up, and puts it into his little pouch on his side and goes, "I appreciate it. I do like going on long journeys." I believe Malik and I have been looking for a vacation.
And one you shall have for about 8 hours.
I'm a busy man. 8 hours is fine.
Metolius witnesses this and it's like, huh. He might be interested in something like that.
So, are you guys doing anything before we're leaving the cart?
Prison and tea, JK.
This whole adventure was just a long, drawn-out trip. You all wake up in the back of a 7-Eleven.
Let's turn this tomb into the Tomb of Horrors. No.
You take in there only what you bring with you.
Nope. Metolius dismounts and tells Varys to be vigilant, and he will return in Sylvan.
Is Varys staying out this far and not coming with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Or wherever we leave the horses.
Sure.
That's where Varys is. He's like the horse
So
protector.
awesome. I like that. Prior to you leaving Marabi officially, he kind of looks at Joel and goes, "I wish you luck. Hopefully we'll pass across again. It's not that big of an island, but I am a very small gnome. So
Apparently there are more islands from what we've gathered.
I've heard. I might have to go check them out too. Do you know if there are many, booming cities on those?"
We know next to nothing about this entire place.
Yes, what he said.
Well, if I find it first, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
And goes, "Don't worry. Just remember and tell everyone you see. If you're looking for the weird and wonderful, all you need is to find Marabi's Bazaar."
In Undercommon, Loudscott says, "And Mr. Marabi, please be safe yourself."
He responds in kind, in Undercommon, and goes, "You too, little one." Weirdly, his Undercommon is lacking of an accent.
Alright, into the woods.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Into the woods. So yeah, you begin pacing yourself through the woods, and about half a mile in is when you would leave the horses behind. You would want to keep them as far away from if there are more of those creatures coming out.
Now I will dismount and tell Varys to watch the horses and to lead them away if he is able in case of danger.
He's got antlers. He just kind of like get and
I mean, he has an intelligence of 6 now
So
that he's my steed,
yeah.
and he can speak words.
To you?
Yeah, I believe only to me though.
Well, I don't know if anyone else. Maybe Elduin speaks Sylvan.
Indeed, Elduin does speak Sylvan.
If
So
your
you-
elk speaks elk, I could fucking talk to him.
Sadly, it's the one language he doesn't speak. Go figure. Weird. No, you guys continue down about this half a mile out from what supposedly is the entrance or the clearing that the entrance lies in. Walking through the forest, you notice that under this heavy foliage, it's shaded. It's not dark, but it's shaded. Enough that you start to see these odd little blips around just at the edges of your vision, and kind of like between the trees, just like small blips of light, almost like fireflies at first.
Oh. Does Elduin see these?
I think all of you roll perception. Let's see who does.
What time of day is it?
It is still before noon.
Okay.
9 for rain.
Perception? That's what
Because
we're
let's see if we roll 10 miles, it took us about 2 hours, give or take. Yeah, it would be about like probably about a couple hours before high noon.
Cool. That would be a non-natural 20 perception.
You would definitely see it.
Grimtuck got 19.
You would also see it.
I would like to roll a nature check to identify
Sure.
these things.
15.
15.
Yeah.
You would see it.
Loud Scout got a 6.
Let's go. You actually don't see it. You notice it at the corner of your eye and kind of look over and it's gone.
13 nature check.
And Grimtuck got a 21.
21.
Or-
Nature check. I was rolling the same.
Rain, are you looking for stuff?
Oh, I rolled a 9.
No, then you
Yeah.
do not see it. Both Loud Scout and Rain catch them as they like flit between the trees. There are a few things it could be. You got what a
21 on nature,
21?
19 on perception.
So there are a few things. They could be some amount of fae dancing at the edge of the edges of the woods. They could also be things like
Now, granted, I have the eagle eyesight as well,
that's true.
so I have.
Well, aren't you freaking fancy? You notice that they are just glowing orbs of light. That they are not small fae dancing. Elduin, to you, they could be, but they also could be. Both of you remember stories and have heard tales of things like will-o-wisps.
Elduin is going to, loud but not like yelling either, say in Sylvan, "Are you friend?"
They're glowing balls of light.
But perchance they are fey creatures. They are...
No, they're not creatures. They're just glowing balls of light.
Oh,
They have no body. They have no limbs.
you have very good vision.
They flit around. I've heard tales of such creatures, and they don't always mean well.
What manner of creature are they?
I'm uncertain. I've only heard about them in story. I've never actually seen any. Been told of things called will-o-wisps.
Will-o-wisps. That does ring a bell. Are they... Elduin would probably know some things.
I was going to say, with a 17, you would definitely know that...
13.
13? I thought it was...
I got 13. I got a non-natural 20 for perception and a 13 for nature.
You wouldn't know a ton. You would have heard tales of them being detrimental.
Okay.
You would know they're more something akin to undead. That is pretty much all you know.
That they're more akin to undead?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll make sure to let everybody know that these things are closer to undead creatures than they are to fey creatures. They are not friends to us. They are not mischievous woodland creatures.
Noted.
Perhaps then they could lead us to what we seek.
Do they recognize us? Do they seem to be taking notice of us?
I do not know. They are merely motes of light.
Those motes of light seem to continue dancing forward. Once in a while, a couple 100 feet ahead of you, pass across the path.
Do they seem that they're keeping a distance, an equal distance from us as we move?
Yes and no.
Like keeping pace with us?
There's just a good few of them around you. There are about probably maybe 15 in total spots of light that are kind of dancing throughout. And they range in size and intensity. Some flit out of into nothingness. Some kind of dance between the trees as though kind of putting on a show.
Can we see the mountain
At this point,
through the trees at all?
not above you. The foliage above is pretty thick.
Okay.
But they seem to be moving. If you were to stand still, you would notice them moving forward.
Can I utilize my nature check to, or do you need me to roll another one to see if there's any wildlife around?
No, you can use your nature check.
Oh.
You don't really notice much in the way of nature. You notice a few things here and there. Maybe not any squirrels this time, but a couple birds.
Okay, so it's not like animals are purposefully avoiding this area.
Nope.
Okay.
I say that we press on, but be very careful.
Agreed.
So, farther down the path, you notice that these balls of light continue, yes, to keep pace, but also just to keep around you. And as they kind of float through, they start to kind of stick to the center, to the path in front of you. Always keeping distance, always staying just a little bit ahead, but still moving forward as you are, until they kind of spread out at a certain point a little ways up the trail and kind of filter through the trees and are out of sight for a moment.
Are these creatures, do we know if they're at all intelligent?
You know that they have some amount of an intelligence. You don't know how much. So you don't know. You certainly don't know if they have like an ability to speak or anything.
Metolius presses on
Sure.
through the woods.
Agreed.
As you press on, you finally make it to the point of noticing there's light coming through the canopy above until you break to the tree line. And above you sits that tall mountain Marabi pointed at, looming high over these treetops. And in front of that, kind of cut straight out of the stone itself, a channel or a canyon sits there. What's interesting is that there are trees up to the very edge of that, but in the midst of this canyon it leads down and doesn't seem to continue as it cuts into the mountain itself. It seems to almost stop and maybe turn, but you can't tell at the very far distance. So you have a clearing. There seem to be about 4 or 5 trees around as it's kind of cut into the mountain, opening up this kind of channel in between. And yeah, you're now out of the forest into this kind of glade or bit in front of the mountain, standing there. What are you guys doing?
Is there anything that we can see in the glade that looks dangerous or...
Roll that perception.
Mm-hmm. Also, Elduin, who is going to send Teak, who has been sitting on his shoulder, up to have a peek around.
Welcome back, T.
Oh, he's been back for an episode or so.
Yeah, he's been back. He's just,
A little teak peek.
Little peek peek. God damn it.
Yeah.
How have we not used that yet?
Absolutely, that is great. Elduin got a 13. Teak, got something.
More than a 15.
Higher than 15.
What you actually notice, Elduin, is that around the edges of this clearing, where the trees are still kind of planted, even amidst the stone of the mountain, you see those small motes of light kind of floating through. They now kind of sit on either side of you all as they kind of float in. Are you moving forward at all towards this kind of channel in front of you?
It seems like a great place for an ambush.
Indeed, I would be waiting for Teak to finish surveying before.
What did Teak roll?
Teak rolled a 16, and for anything involving sight or hearing, he got a 22.
What Teak notices that right behind some trees that sit on either side of this kind of entranceway, that behind them stands 2 figures, one on either side. Very still, motionless. They seem to be the color of wood.
So
Almost as though carved statues out of trees themselves.
Teak is going to direct my attention that way.
Okay.
And while looking that way, can I see them?
Yeah, so there's about a 15-foot cut right into the mountain itself, leading downwards. And then on either side of that, there are, now that you kind of notice them, they blended in very well to the surroundings, but now you're noticing them, there are these human-sized, a little bit larger, almost statues of wood, and hefting what seems to be a shield in one hand and holding what seems to be a sword point down in the other, as though, kind of statued sentries standing on either side of this entrance.
And they're not moving.
They are not moving
Okay.
at all.
I'm going to
There's a cave entrance
point
between
at them
So
the party can
there's
see.
an entrance kind of cut, not a cave entrance, but kind of a long tunnel kind of cut into the mountain itself, leading about 50 feet down.
Okay.
Gripchuck is going to take a detailed look at the statues now that Elduin points them out. See if he can figure out any insignia, see if they have any symbols on them.
Sure.
And so just kind of take a detailed look. Do you want me to roll for it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's an investigation.
Oh, it's not good. 4.
What you notice is that their shields seem to be made of things like roots. Almost like, think of you take a uprooted tree and you cut off the very base. That kind of splayed out into a shield. The sword almost cut to look like a very large, just a honed steel sword made out of wood set behind it. And they just seem to be 2 wooden sentries kind of standing there, almost
just normal human height?
a little bit bigger, standing there kind of sitting as just guards to this entryway.
What's the distance from us to them?
From you to them,
Yeah.
a couple 100 feet.
Friend Elduin, say we lob an arrow at one of those statues.
You are much for sword point diplomacy, aren't you?
Well, here's the thing. Either one of 2 things. They're a trap, or they're a statue. In either eventuality, who cares if we hit them with an arrow?
So you are just foregoing the friend outcome?
They're statues, or they're not.
And if they are not, they could be friend, foe, or some manner in between.
You normally make friends with statues, or things made of wood.
I do make friends with forest creatures, and they are made of wood.
As you are all discussing this, you notice the will-o'-the-wisps floating down into the kind of cut channel.
They are not friends.
Agreed.
They float around the 2 statues for just a moment, kind of shining into this almost carved pit where a face would be, just a black hole in the very front. And then they kind of just bob down this about 20-foot decline in front of you that seems to lower into a lower vantage point that you're not really able to see into there.
Never mind, they seem to be friends with those creatures. Elduin is going to knock an arrow on his bow and take a shot at one of them.
Okay.
Metolius says, I bet the entrance to our tomb lies within that cave tunnel.
Perchance. Elduin is going to line up a shot, really take aim, and roll a 15.
So you fire your arrow, and let me see. As you fire it wide across this kind
I
of
assume I'm within 600.
Yeah.
600 feet? Yes, you are within 600 feet. So you fire it across, and you fire just a little bit high, and it catches into the wall behind it.
Okay.
Motion does not occur.
Okay.
Seems to not move at all.
You missed. That's unlike you, Elduin.
Which is known to happen from time to time.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Maybe
I've
he
seen
just
way tougher shots.
He doesn't want to hurt fine art.
The tips of Elduin's ears just turn a little bit red.
I'll bet you a gold you can't get it on the next one.
Oh, shit.
Well, Elduin notches another arrow. Taking aim again.
Is that too far off for you, friend?
Perhaps friend Metolius should borrow your bow, or myself. I'm a pretty good hand at
I'm
a
not
bow.
one for bows, really. And Metolius starts walking toward the tunnel.
Also, you owe me a gold.
Elduin hands him a gold.
So, Metolius, are you walking past the tomb?
I am walking toward them in the tunnel entrance.
So as you start to walk towards them. You notice the will-o'-the-wisp kind of flit down, and as they get to the very bottom of this decline, they turn and they disappear into what seems to be some other offshoot from this.
Okay.
As we're getting closer to the tunnel, Rain definitely has her rapier out.
Okay.
And at the ready, just in case.
Yeah, Metolius definitely has his sword drawn
Grimtuck
and
wants to.
shield out.
Oh, yeah. So are
I've been
these
keeping an eye on it.
statues at an elevated position, or
Nope.
are they just flanking the?
On the ground
Okay.
to either side of the entranceway.
Okay. Well, if we're just walking forward, when we do get within any type of range, Grimtuck is just going to start throwing rocks at those things.
Okay.
He really wants to see what happens when you hit one.
Okay.
Metolius turns to Grimtuck and says, "You are a very superstitious friend."
I find these things crazy and ill-placed, and this whole area is weird. This whole land is weird.
They are merely meant to guard the entrance to the tomb, and not literally, metaphorically.
Well,
Don't you know anything about elven culture?
not really.
Well, they place statues as forms of landmarks. Unobtrusive.
Elduin, why didn't you know that?
Perhaps they do things different on Evermeet. I have lived...
I'm just gonna say, do I know that? Is the first question. Oh man, I am just.
I'm going to let you roll with advantage, being that you're an elf.
Elduin is not rolling very
That's
well
a
right
9.
now. I mean,
better than the 6.
What's in nature?
This is what is this history?
Nature.
Nature. 12.
12. You've heard tell of kind of guardians of the dead. Elves live a very long time and hold their dead in high esteem, being that they have made it. Other offshoots of elvish culture have been known to leave just makeshift guardians.
Elduin's gonna turn to Griffin and he's gonna say, I mean, I knew that.
Totally, dude.
I just chose not to share it.
Well then, if they're just ornamental, then fine.
While this has been going on, Louscott has started on a bottle of brandy since he's finished that bottle of ale, obviously, on the long trip.
I do want to see if you can make it. I just see Grimtuck just throwing a rock and seeing if he can make it in that little recess, like in the front.
Should I roll on it?
You can if you want. You don't have
I
to.
kind of do. What would that be? Dex mod?
Sure.
Alright, hits to 18.
So you throw it, and as you do, you hear it. You see it sink into the hole, and you hear it ding, 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 as it's very hollow sound.
I don't think there's a thing in there.
There's now a rock.
Clever, Elduin. See, I told you. And then Metolius steps to move into the tunnel.
Louscott shakes his head and takes a drink off his bottle.
Hey, look, Last Scout, tunnels. It's your thing.
Metolius, as your foot.
Louscott just kind of has, like, he already had, like, a smile on his face just knowing that we're about to go into a tunnel.
Metolius.
And is drinking, like, just out of excitement.
As your foot passes the threshold of these two statues, you don't notice it because you're past them already, at least in past eyesight. But the four behind
Firmly
you,
focused on the tunnel ahead.
but the four behind you notice four glowing orbs light amidst those recessed portions of their face.
I knew it!
The will-o'-wisps glow within them. And Metolius, I'd like you to make a dexterity saving throw. As you
Why don't you just try to break my AC, Dungeon Master?
asked for it.
Yeah, it's fine. Shields out. But I guess I've passed them, so it
Shields
doesn't
out,
really
yields out.
work.
Well, it's right now, even with your shield out,
Yeah.
it's a 26.
Lay it on me, brother.
A moment later, as these glowing orbs happen to glow a light within the faces of these creatures, one of those swords almost instantly swings wide, catching Metolius into the shield in the side and hitting him hard with the blunt edge, for 12 damage.
Whew.
Alright.
Good morning.
I knew it!
And at that moment, I would like you all to roll initiative. As both come very much to life, revealing their large wooden swords. What's interesting is they are finely crafted to look as though steel, like actual real swords, instead of just like long clubs. Their shields come out, and they go into this kind of fighting stance. Let us go with initiative.
24 for Elduin.
Wow.
18 for Rain.
15 for Grimtuck.
18 for Loud Scout.
18 for Metolius.
Oh my god.
Good lord.
We are peppy today.
I got the lowest at 15.
Yeah.
Somebody drink some strong coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of the 3 with 18, I'm guessing your dex mod is the highest.
Probably plus 3.
+2.
Yeah, mine's a 2.
Okay, so Rain will go first.
Wait, no.
No.
Yeah, you guys.
No.
Out of the 18.
Out of the
Okay,
18s,
yeah.
Rain will go first. Out of you two, who would like to?
I'll defer to Loud Scout since I just got smacked in the head.
Okay.
Or in the side. So I think that would give Loud Scout the priority.
So, Elduin, as you see this happen, the eyes glow, the sword flies out, crashing into your half-elven brother.
And throwing him against the wall of this mountain-side tunnel situation.
It is your turn.
Okay, how far away from them am I?
From them, are you?
So, like, we were all walking through the opening between
Yes.
the two of them.
Metolius made it through, so you'd probably be about 50 feet away, give or take.
50?
50, maybe? I don't know, depending. How close were you? Because you were all kind of standing back and looking at the creatures while
Gotcha.
Metolius
Yeah.
was just, like, walking forward.
Oh, I would have followed him, so I
Okay.
would probably be within
10 or 15?
probably like 20 or
Yeah,
25
20
feet
to
of him
25
Sure.
is what.
Okay. You are 20 or 25 feet away right now. What are you doing?
from both of them. Okay, first Elduin is going to say, "They are foe!" And then he's going to, and then he's going to back up a little
This,
bit, launch
So
T-
observant.
So you know, the tunnel is about 15 feet wide and about 20 feet long from where you are, give or take.
I can see 20 feet into it?
Yes.
Okay. And it's dark past there.
It's not specifically dark. It's just kind of shaded from the mountain.
Okay. And
Metolius is now
inside.
crashed up against the wall.
Cool.
And the two creatures are on either side of this entrance.
Elduin is going to like do the like bob and weave away from them, and as he is firing a couple of arrows at them. Due to the new arcane archer rules, they're not quite the same as they were in previous editions. They are now merely mundane arrows until future times.
But still magical, right?
Next level.
They're not magical. They are non-magical.
Huh?
You have to be at 7th level before they're just always considered magical now, due to Xanathar's guide to making arcane archers weaker.
An amazing guy, but
Um,
what'd you get?
Balanced. More balanced.
I
Not
got
weaker.
a
It's a negative
25 and a 14.
The 14 does not.
Did Nick see my shadow sorcerer?
The 14
Quiet,
does not
you.
hit. The 25 does.
Cool.
Which are you going for, the right or the left?
I'm going for the one that is closest, that is currently swinging on Metolius.
Okay, that would be the one to the left.
Okay. Well, that is going to be 9 points of the piercing damages.
Okay. Euro flies and crashes into this, sticking into the wooden structure. You hear a hollow thunk as it sticks in.
Cool. And I'm trying to move. I'm moving as far away from them as I possibly
Sure.
can.
You move 30 feet, so if you were 25, you're already 55 feet away from them.
Great.
Excellent. That makes it Rain's turn.
Okay. How far am I at this point?
Say around that, maybe 30 feet away from them.
Okay.
If you were behind Grimtuck and Elduin, who were discussing the possibilities of these creatures being creatures.
Yeah, I was probably behind them. I guess I'll go in with my rapier because
Okay.
they're wielding swords. You said, right?
They're wielding wooden swords, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go in with my rapier. And it's somebody's within 5 feet, right? Because
Oh, I'm definitely within 5
exactly.
feet.
You just got attacked.
So specifically the one that Elduin had shot.
Mm-hmm.
The one with an arrow in it would be the one within 5 feet of him.
Well, then that's the one I'll go for.
Okay.
Thanks for defending me, guys.
We got your back, man.
Anytime, buddy.
Avenge me.
That would be a 9, so I'm guessing that does not hit.
That is not. What it does is your rapier just slides right off of the kind of root-based shield, which is surprisingly firm.
Okay. I guess at that point I would use my cunning action to disengage.
Okay.
And stand step back 10 feet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done.
Sweet. You are back. That makes it Loudscat's turn.
Alright, so I'm gonna turn and run towards the closest one of the statue things that I'm to.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever one's closer. And I'm gonna run up, and as I do, I'm gonna reach in one of my sleeves and pull out the small clay hand that I have and hold it in the palm of my hand and cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp and have it appear right in front of that guy. And then they make a strength saving throw.
Their strength saving throw was a 9.
So they don't make it.
What? No, wait, what? Damn. So close.
So they take 2d6 and are restrained for the duration of the spell.
Are they
problem.
both?
What's that?
They both restrained?
No, just the one that I attacked.
Okay,
Cool.
so I would say you were probably closer to the one that isn't being harried by Rain and hitting Metolius and shot by Elwin.
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it takes 5 damage. It is restrained for the duration, and the duration's a minute.
Okay. So as you kind of grip your clay molded hand, out of the earth just springs out this gigantic hand just made of gravel and rocks and mud and just grips around this wooden thing, and you hear creaking as the wood is crushed underneath its grasp. Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Metolius.
actually,
not your
yes.
turn yet.
One more thing. Sorry. I'm going to spend 2 sorcery points to change the casting spell of my next action to a bonus action and cast Mage Armor as I pull out my piece of cured leather and run it across my chest like I'm putting on a seatbelt.
Safety first.
Alright.
So you just, around you, Latska, you just hear a very low hum just as the armor goes up.
Hell yeah.
Metolius, it's your turn.
Are they both adjacent to me?
The one that is now grasped is probably about 10 feet away from
Alright.
you. You could definitely get in between the two of them.
And not provoke attacks of opportunity.
You can move around the one that hit you and not.
Alright, I'll do that.
Okay.
Because I see a moment of weakness, so I'm going to take advantage. I'm
Word.
Gonna run over there and I'm going to attack the restrained one
Excellent. Do it.
with reckless abandon.
You're not a barbarian.
No.
Is the restrained one the one that attacked you?
No.
No.
Okay, the other one. Gotcha.
22.
Damn. 22 to hit. Hits.
I'll just roll both attacks.
Sure.
And an 18.
18 hits.
Alright. Ten slashing damage.
Okay.
And 10 slashing damage.
20 slashing damage altogether. Boom. You cut this creature, and what you notice is that your attacks cut it much deeper than you've seen from either of your two counterparts prior. Granted, only Elduin and the grip of the earth hit either one, but you notice that your sword has actually cut almost a slash into the wood. And you see just blackness inside.
Neat.
So you're saying cutting down a tree is effective against
My plan!
a tree?
No! My weakness!
If only we had some form of axe.
I solved your tree puzzle.
My tree puzzle!
Okay, cool.
Ask him a question.
I will just
What?
be on guard for any future assaults.
Word.
And I'm done.
Metolius. you notice something. Also, the same slash you gave it begins to kind of grow closed as they begin its turn. Not entirely, but a bit. As it is restrained, it is going to swing wildly upon you being the closest thing it's got, as well as the hand trying to get itself out of this.
Yeah.
First upon you with the first attack. Trying to hit you with your shield up for 16?
Nope.
16 slams against your shield. This wooden sword, you hear almost a slight crack as it hits against the metal.
Okay.
Loud Scout, it's going to try to swing at the earthen grasp to try to get out of it.
Okay.
Swings a 19 to hit the ground.
So when it's trying to break out, it just makes a strength saving throw, I believe.
Okay.
And then it's against my spell save DC.
Okay, so its swing is going to be its strength saving throw. A strength, which is altogether 16. Is that your spell save?
My spell save is 4.
So yeah,
So that makes it.
It does. So it kind of takes the sword and slams against the gripping hand around it, and you see it just fall to bits,
Thought I was gonna be able to hit a restrained gag.
releasing it from its entombment.
Alright,
Gonna use that great weapon next. But not now.
Let me tell you, bro, it's amazing.
Well, not now. Now
Well,
it's-
I mean,
we broke free.
It also is going to use, being that you are the closest, if you would like to make an attack of opportunity, it is going to move away from you.
The one that was grasped.
The one that was grasped.
Sure.
Cool.
13.
13?
Yeah.
Does not hit.
Okay.
So you swing wide as it steps, moving out of the way. This hulk. Again, it's still just a little bit larger than you, Metolius. Not a large creature by any means, but it kind of moves out of the way with a deftness you are surprised at from a tree, and you see it walk next to one of the trees in this kind of clearing and step into that tree. And as it does, it steps out of a tree on the opposite side of the clearing, standing clear of you all, getting actually now closer to effectively Loud Scout by a few feet, as well as Eldon, who is hanging a little bit back. As the second creature is now standing with Brain next to it, it is going to start to swing at you. Its first is a natural 1.
Okay. Oh, and I was 10 feet away, so did it move? Yeah, I did disengage and move back.
That's true. It is going to move forward towards
Okay.
you.
I wasn't sure.
Being
I
that
was
you are
100% if they could move, because I hadn't seen them move yet. So.
They can move. You are still the closest thing to it.
Yes, totally. So nat 1 on the first one.
Nat 1.
Excellent.
Hey, I make you guys do it. I'm gonna do it too. We're doing a percentile roll. I'm gonna call low. That's a 10. So, it holds the sword in hand but misses you completely.
Still okay by me?
The second attack. The second attack swings at you with a 23.
That does hit.
Rain, I hit you for 7 damage as the sword swings in and catches you to the side. But it is now Grimtuck's turn.
Okay, so we have one squaring off with Rain.
One behind you all.
Yeah, one behind us, closer to Loud Scout. I'll go engage the one that's near Loud Scout since Metolius is closer to the other one. He's our other close-up fighter. So yeah, Grimtuck is going to attack the one who is trying to roll up on Loud Scout and everybody from behind. Since that one will be closer to me anyways. So he's going to attack twice with his great axe.
Correct.
So the first one hits to 26. The second one hits to what? 14.
14
Yes.
to hit.
The first one 26, the second 14.
First one hits. Second one does not.
Okay.
Second one skims right off the shield. The first one does catch Perseus, though.
Also damage.
Ask him a question.
axe him. What's up? So that would be 14 slashing damage.
14 slashing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, you once again cut hard into this creature, showing nothing but emptiness on the inside. Are you doing anything else?
Seems a little emo, but
It's not Enoch. We haven't gotten there yet.
so empty inside. Yeah, no.
Enoch
At
would
le-
probably like hang out with these guys.
I was gonna say though, at least this one is physically empty on the inside, not emotionally.
Right. No, I won't do anything else.
Okay, top of the round.
Okay, so there's one that is next to Rain. There's
Yes.
one that is next to Loud Scout and Grimcoat.
Yes.
Bingo.
Okay, and the one that got hurt the most was
The one behind you next to Latska.
the one right next to Loud Scout. Okay, so Teak will go during my turn, right?
Yes.
And Teak can take some simple actions, right?
Yeah.
So Teak is going to fly by down by the one that is in front of Grimtuck and Rain.
Yeah.
And is going to use the help action.
No,
Okay.
Grimtuck and Loud Scout.
Oh.
Rain and Metolius.
So,
Oh.
Rain and Metolius is up front near the entrance. Grimtuck and Loudscat are in back. And so the one behind you is the one that Grimtuck's attacking.
Gotcha. Then I'm doing the one. He's going to fly by for the one that is next to Grimtuck and
So behind you, absolutely.
behind me. And he's just going to fly by and use the dash action to like flutter in the face of this thing.
Okay.
And then fly away. Basically. He's got fly by.
Okay.
So it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks.
Okay.
As
So
an
just
ally.
kind of take.
It's going to bother.
He's just gonna like bob and weave in front of the thing.
Its next attack will have disadvantage.
Well, so it has an actual.
Okay.
There's an actual. So what it gives is any ally within 5 feet of it,
Yeah.
the next attack has advantage.
Okay. So instead of
So-
mine, whoever
so-
is next, which
yeah.
would be effectively
Loud Scout.
Loudscat, you have advantage on your
Within
attack.
5 feet, your attack has advantage. Great. And then I'm going to shoot arrows at the other.
Okay. Sweet.
Other
Oh,
one.
has to be within 5 feet? That would probably
I doubt I would be within 5 feet.
The
Yeah.
next ally within 5 feet to attack.
Yeah, that would be Grimtuck. Because Loudscat just runs up and pulls out a giant great axe as well.
Yeah.
No one ever knew he had it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. 2 arrows.
Oh.
So there's,
Called it.
There's a natural 1, but there is also an 18.
So I would like
Nope.
you to roll a
That is a
percentile.
non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20 definitely hits, but that one, though, could also hit. Wait,
No, I didn't.
roll it again. Call high or low.
High.
Okay. You want to get high.
54.
That's 45. That is
Oh,
low. Roll a d4 for me.
4.
That would be Rain. I would like you to hit with both of your attacks. One in
no.
Rain and one in the
Okay.
creature.
So the one at the creature is going to hit for 9 points of piercing damage, and the one at Rain. Oh, wait, that's cocked. For 10 points of damage.
Alright.
Ouch. Sprout. Sorry. This is not your day.
Apparently not.
As your arrows fly, one catching into the wooden creature, one catching into your tiefling friend, you see both kind of reel back as the damage sets in.
At this point, I'm going to use my action surge, and I'm going to take 2 more shots
Okay.
at this thing. Feeling bad, I'm going to try to actually hit the target this time.
Okay.
I got a natural 20 and a 14.
14 does not. Natural 20 definitely does.
Alright, so double damage dice. Ooh. So it's going to be 18 points of damage.
Okay.
And I'm also going to, at this point, mutter a few words to myself.
Sure.
And flick that arrow into a banishing arrow.
Okay.
Which means that this creature has to do a thing.
Do a
Just to
thing.
say, it has to succeed on a charisma saving throw.
Word. Actually, one of their best stats. That's not true. What is the damage again? 15 or 18?
I did 18 points of damage, not including the beguiling arrow.
And does this one count as a magic arrow?
Yes, this one does.
Okay. So, charisma saving throw.
Mm-hmm. DC 14.
So we got a 6.
So this wooden creature is going to blink out of existence.
So, as the arrow flies true, catching it right in the center, from between both Metolius and Rain, the creature and is gone. Hey everybody, Chris here. I just want to thank you as usual for all of your continued support. We've been trying out this new Twitter, Instagram, social media thing, and it's seemingly doing quite well. This will be the last episode of this month, but we will be back on the 5th of February with our next episode ready for you. So, like always, you can find us on our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at /theswordcast. You can find us on our website at www.swordcastadventures.com, where we have just uploaded a few new pictures, be it maps, a few new items from different episodes. You should really check it out. We will still be trying to do Twitch streams at twitch.tv/swordcastadventures. Otherwise, as I usually say at the end of this, reviews, likes, all that stuff really help the podcast grow, and we have seen some growth, and we really truly thank you from the bottom of my heart and my crew's. It's been awesome, and we will continue to enjoyably be awesome. And for now, I really just want to say thank you so much, everyone. And as always, you'll hear from us soon.